I saw a job listing the other day for an AI engineer role. They wanted Python, PyTorch, Keras, Kubernetes, GitHub Actions, AWS, Google Cloud, a bit of front-end development, and being able to do a handstand and triple backflip. 206k average salary, or so they say. Well, that's a US number. In Spain, I can tell you that the reality is quite different. But here's the thing, even here the demand is through the roof. And nobody can agree what the job actually is. My name is Neil, I am an AI solutions architect, and I've been shipping production AI systems for enterprise clients across health tech, retail, logistics, and other industries. And in this video, I will share three things. What the job actually is, how it's different from data science and machine learning engineering, and what to learn if you want to break in. Let me tell you what it actually looks like. So, my first AI engineer job was at a big company in Spain, more than 8,000 employees just for IT. They hired me for fixing an AI assistant, and on the first week I had to fix the assistant's crazy latency. So I had to think about caching, streaming, optimization strategies, basically zero prompting, just reading error logs and refactoring code. Welcome to AI engineering. That's when I realized that it's not your traditional machine learning, it's software engineering. Here's why the role even exists. There are roughly 5,000 LLM researchers globally, but over 50 million software engineers. That gap created a massive demand for an in-between class, people who can take those models and actually ship products with them. And someone put it really well. One can be quite successful in this role without ever training anything, unlike machine learning, where you train from scratch. I've been with teams where software engineers couldn't test something that gives a different answer every time, and data scientists couldn't create classes or use inheritance for properly building a lasting project. And this doesn't mean that I know all stuff, by no means, but I believe that this mixture is where you get the most dividends in this field. Now, I know some of you are thinking that this sounds like software engineer with extra steps. And honestly, you are not wrong. That's the point. AI engineers don't train models, they use them. It's like how web developers don't build databases or JavaScript frameworks. It's really software engineering with a bit of makeup of data science, but the core of it is really software engineering. And no, you don't need a PhD. Most AI engineers hold a bachelor's degree like myself. All of you have PhDs. What matters is shipping, not publishing really. And one more thing, remember when everyone was talking about prompt engineer as a hot new job? So a study analyzed a ton of job postings. Prompt engineering as a standalone role, it's less than 1%, so it got absorbed into AI engineering, because prompting alone is not a job, it's a skill inside a bigger job. And here's this quote I love. It defines really well what this role looks like today. Moving towards the three realities of AI engineering. First and foremost, the plumbing, so really connecting stuff. APIs, building retrieval systems, assembling context windows. Most of your day is just coding. And that's fine, because spaghetti software is what kills most projects. 9 out of 10 AI projects fail, and the root cause is almost never the model. It's unclear success metrics, bad data governance, or sloppy integrations. The boring engineering stuff. You get the plumbing right, and the AI part almost takes care of itself. Moving into the next one, making LLMs do what you want, and not the other way around. This is where the data science makeup comes in. LLMs are non-deterministic, so you need evaluations, benchmarking, and more. AI professionals spend a fraction of their work time just optimizing prompts. A ton of their time goes into optimizing their tools or context, like relevant examples, documents, and so on. For example, for AI content generation, you have to deal a lot with the inputs, giving examples of what you want without making the AI sound robotic, getting the voice right, getting the style right, and tone also. And when it all breaks, the difference between going into a casino. The only thing that you are gambling with is your time. This is a real story. Way back then, I was building an AHR chatbot, and we had to deal with around 30 question types. It worked fine at first, but as we added use cases, we stuffed the prompt, and more information, and the results became basically garbage, super inconsistent. The real problem was that too much logic was being written into the prompt, and this confused the LLM. If it can be code or a tool, make it code. Don't ask the LLM to do what a function can do deterministically. It will be cheaper and way more accurate. So what does a real morning look like for me? Most of my work is follow up with tasks I've planned for different clients. This morning, for example, I had to sketch the architecture for a retail client who needs AI to generate product design variations from reference images. We are going to benchmark models like Nano Banana and the latest from OpenAI image, to analyze clothing styles, and to iterate on products really fast. Then I'll switch to another client, tuning prompts for image generation. The details matter, like make this product look like this certain shadow. I'll take the reference images as a ground truth and then iterate with the prompt, treating it like a black box and running evaluations until the benchmark matches really what they want. And that's it. No neural networks, no training runs, architecture prompts, benchmarks, and client calls. I would say that My LinkedIn says I'm a solutions architect, but my calendar says professional prompt debugger. So moving towards the annoying parts, let me tell you 3 things that will genuinely annoy you in this job. The first, the weird bugs. One of the most repeated issues I had from building this HR assistant was when somebody had a name with an accent. The LLM couldn't create a proper SQL query to retrieve that name. Sounds simple, right? But we ended up solving it with regular expressions and a lot of engineering around character encoding. Second, the differentiation between workflows and agents. So workflows follow a fixed path. Agents figure it out on the fly. Workflows are deterministic, which is great, until you need to change something. Then they are fragile and you end up rebuilding the whole thing. I've seen workflows with irrelevant steps, just adding latency, and others where accuracy dropped because there was too much that was being asked in that node in the AI. And third, getting LLMs to grab your style or tone without sounding off. Right now, Claude has got it right with a few short examples, but I've struggled a lot with other models before that. And when somebody asks what I do, I calibrate. My granny gets I fix computers, and everyone else gets I argue with Claude for a living. Jokes aside, 3 years ago I was dealing with data structure books and fixing those with a debugger. And right now, mostly I'm architecting with AI coding assistants and letting them build from the specification I created. Manual coding is over. And here's something that might surprise you. There was a control study with some experienced open source developers with real tasks randomized with AI tools. The developers predicted AI would save them time, but the actual result, it was just the opposite. They literally would have been faster without the AI. Expensive autocomplete. Without deep understanding, AI tools can actually make you slower. So what to learn really if you want to break into AI? Most AI job listings don't ask for researchers, as mentioned before. They want domain experts with practical knowledge, people who can build and ship. But here's what should wake you up. Almost none of the Gen AI pilots out there make it to production, and more than half of engineering leaders are planning to hire fewer juniors, because AI copilots let seniors handle more. The bar is going up. Great news if you are a senior, but terrifying if you just learn what a for loop is. Here's what drives me crazy about AI career advice on YouTube. Everyone's focused on the wrong part, like how to get rich with Cloud Code and how to make money with AI tools. Those are just tools that help you work better. Nobody's teaching you how to deploy an application, how to design an architecture based on what customer needs. I haven't seen a single video about domain design for a real customer project. But the market is paying for builders, not for people who watch tutorials. A non-technical friend of a startup told me that he sees a lot of leverage with AI coding tools. I told him yes, but imagine the leverage in the hands of somebody deeply technical, meaning your understanding gets really amplified, but you need to know what you are building and why you are building it. Here's what I would actually tell someone who wants to break in. Learn the basics of object-oriented programming. What classes are? Of course, this is the foundation. Get a grasp around deployment, because otherwise you cannot put something in production. Then get ChatGPT or Claude and try to build alongside with it. And most importantly, ask questions and understand everything. And if I could go back and change one thing about how I learn, it would be to take action before I felt prepared. Because when you apply what you've learned, things stick way more than just reading or watching another tutorial. And here's my test. Once the project works, delete it all. Or sketch it out with a pencil. Try to explain each one of the parts from scratch, without the need of looking at the code. And if you can do that, you are actually learning. So what really separates from my point of view as junior from a senior, it's ownership and responsibility. Designing the whole thing, implementing it, and when things go south, being able to handle that effectively. Not being scared to get in difficult situations and to grow outside the comfort zone. I remember when I said that it's just software engineering with a bit of makeup? That's the whole point. Learn to be a great engineer first. The AI part is the easy part. Now you know what the role is. On the next video, I'll show you the architecture pattern that every AI system that I've built relies on. If you want to see what building with AI actually looks like, subscribe. I'll see you on that one.